Hey guys, Shane McMurray from The Wedding Report. In this episode, I meet with Andrea, who is a professional florist with a retail shop located in Central Florida. Check it out. Andrea, thanks for doing this. Appreciate your time. Tell me about your business, what city you're in, and your website address, your Instagram, all that good stuff.
Sure. It's my pleasure to be here. I have been following you guys on the past 3 years, and I just love The Wedding Report. I am located in Central Florida, so I am near Orlando. My city, it's called Altamonte Springs, and we serve all the Central Florida area. Actually, we serve all the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a retail store that's open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5, and then we do weddings and events. So we have actually 2 websites. And the reason is my everyday customers did not want to see wedding bouquets or centerpieces or arches. And then the same thing happened with my brides and couples. They did not want to see birthdays and get well arrangements on the website.
Gotcha.
So so about 3 years ago, I decided to open up a second website that is only for the weddings and events. So I actually have 2 business cards as well. And of course, I try to target the public that really is looking for. If I have someone walking in the shop, they will get my retail card and has my personal information and the retail website. Then if there is a couple that's looking for wedding flowers or like an anniversary party or something, corporate events, then I have my other business cards with the events by the Florist Studio website.
Nice.
So that actually, was the best way for me. I put a lot of thought in that, and I asked a lot of other wedding vendors, people that do have a retail store, how do that work? And they're like, oh, you work great. You just have to make sure that, the target people will get the card that they need.
Yeah.
So that's why I have 2 websites. So let's talk about the wedding, right?
Yeah.
So the wedding website is eventsbythefloriststudio.com. And it's events because I do decoration for events. I do not do planning. I'm only a florist, and always I do is flowers. So events, meaning, weddings, celebrations. We do celebrations of life as well. We do a lot of corporate parties, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Yes, we do a lot of that. So Facebook and Instagram is just one account that I have for both. And I mix and match a little bit what I post, because, we have actually like 4 generations of clients right now. So we really have to make sure that we cater for all of them, from prom until, the celebration of life of, grandpa, grandma.
Yeah.
Oh, so the Facebook page is facebook.com/The Florist Studio Florida, because there are other florist studios in the United States. And then the Instagram, it's The Florist Studio Altamonte. That's the name of our town.
Nice. It's interesting that you decided to switch it up like that. Did you get feedback from your customers saying they were kind of like confused about different things?
Yes. Actually, what happened when I only had the retail website, I was sending my couples to there, and I did have like a page, but it was just for pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So, they will find the wedding or events and click on the tab, and then we'll see the pictures. But, even telling people where the tab was, it was hard for them to find.
Interesting.
Yes. So then I was like, okay, so something is really not working. And then I start asking on Facebook groups regarding how all the florists, how do they work? How do they do? And that's when one of them told me, oh, we have 2 totally separate websites. So the retail has the e-commerce, and then the weddings is just, a landed page. But they are connected. If you go to the retail and you're looking for weddings and events, you're going to see a big, hopefully people can see it. And then you click on it. If you're looking for weddings and events flowers, click here. And same thing if you go to the wedding and events website, but you're looking for the retail, then it says click here.
Yeah, got it. Yeah,
Yes.
so you're interacting with each one. It's just that you have separate sites so you can focus on the
Correct.
content. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so let's talk about like what happens when people contact you. So someone either finds you, I mean, you get a lot of referrals from people that you've already done business with, or do you
I,
find that you're getting people like online and stuff like that?
yeah. Yes. Well, it's everywhere. This is my 5th year doing weddings very heavily. I have the shop for 10 years, and just on the past 5 years, then I decided, let me try and get into this wedding world, because until you're not there, you have no clue how big it is.
Yeah.
Uh, just in Central Florida, I mean, the reports.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, Central Florida is a destination wedding place. People come from all over the world. And I'm about an hour from Disney. So I barely do any kind of weddings at the Disney properties because they have their own florist.
Sure.
But people get married at the courthouse, they get married at the park.
Exactly.
It's anywhere. So getting referrals more than ever now. I always ask people, how did you find out about me? Tell me, how did you find out? And then they will say, oh, I was a bridesmaid in a wedding. Or I attended a wedding, then you did the flowers, and there was nothing but, good things about you. Or the photographer sent me to you, or the cake artist send me to you. And then of course we have, advertising with local blogs and local publishers and nationals like the Knot and
Yeah.
the Wire as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. So let's say someone contacts you. Tell me about the process. What happens?
Okay. So if they, I honestly listen, to see which channel the lead is coming from. Because, with the Instagram today, you get, messages all the time on Instagram. My couples are more on Instagram than Facebook. So the retail customers are more on Facebook. But Instagram, I have to always keep my eye on it and make sure that I'm replying and answering, the messages. So if they ask me questions through Instagram, I reply through Instagram. And then I ask them, hey, yes, of course we can help you. Let me know the wedding date first to see if we are available. We don't overbook ever. I like to have control. I have to touch everything that I do.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say no, but you learn how to say no.
Yeah.
And then you guide them to a different florist. We have a great community in Central Florida, and we share leads between the florists. And, it's always community over competition. So it's just great. So if they contact me, that's the first thing I ask, what is the date, so I can look into my calendar and make sure that I'm available, or I'm in town, or, whatever. If it's not spring break and I'm traveling, that always those, family things and, my personal life. So business goes in between.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then they tell me, oh, my wedding is, let's say September 24th of 2020. Okay. So looking at my calendar, I go, oh, yes, we are available. We can gladly help you. So this is how it works. So I tell them what to do, because most of people, they don't know how to figure out the information.
Yeah.
So I tell them, we have 2 ways to do this. You can send me a list. If you already have a list of the things that you need related to flowers, send me a list. Personal flowers, ceremony, reception, rehearsal, whatever. If they they don't have a list, I send them a questionnaire. So I have an online questionnaire, and it's a Google document, super easy, and they can just click it on the link and then answer everything online. The moment that I finish, I get an email, and the turnaround can be 3 days, but it can be up to 10 days, depending when they submit the questionnaire. And I always in touch with them, saying, I got your questionnaire. Thank you so much. We're missing pictures, or we're missing your Pinterest.
Yeah.
So this is like the first communication. Of course, I have people that walk into the shop and say, hi, I'm a bride. Can I get a quote? And I go, well, unfortunately, no. But if you have a picture you want to show me quickly, I can look at it and I can try to give you a ballpark.
Yeah.
So I always try to guide people to make sure, but I don't have like a form that they must fill it or they must go to my website. No, I'm flexible. And this year, I mean, the generations that we have now, I think we have to be flexible.
Yeah, you do. I think people, for you particularly, I've got to imagine everything is so custom and so different. There's no fixed thing, right, with flowers and decorations. Everybody's different.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
but
probably,
yeah, but I learned, yes, I learned how to do ballpark prices.
yeah,
So I do attend a lot of flower classes in a flower school here in Jacksonville that's called Floriology Institute. And I took, I think, like 13 classes in the past 4 years. So it really teaches you how to sell and how to do, you know, ballpark. So one of the things that I'll tell people, it's my starting price. So the starting
that's good.
price will be, you know, the average. But
Mm.
yes, you can always have petite, or you can always have, you know, the giant grande bouquet. It's up to you.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like to start with, you know, median average size. And then from there, you know, depending on the flowers and depending on the style. And, you know, so I try to sell color harmony better than specific flowers, for the reason that nothing grows in Florida. So everything needs to come from out of state.
Yep.
And you know, you got to stop at the customs in Miami if it's coming from you know, Europe, or if it's coming from South America, and they can hold my box.
Yeah.
Or comes from FedEx, they can lose my box. I have no flowers for the wedding.
Yeah.
You know, so I always try to you know, educate them that the best way to do is first to trust your vendors, and then second, to let me choose the best that's available, you know, on the day off.
So just tell me what your colors are, what you're interested in. Let me figure out the logistics, because certain flowers may not be available, or there may be issues trying to get it. Yeah. That's
Yes.
a good approach.
Yeah, so then you don't disappoint them, you know, because you learn as you go. And if you promise the bride and you're gonna have those coral peach peonies, you better get it.
Yeah.
Because you will not take roses instead of the peonies. Now, if you get them and tell them, hey, you know, peonies don't grow in South Florida, you know, they come from up north, or they come from, you know, Alaska, or they come from, you know, out of the country. And if for some reason we cannot get them, are you going to be okay if we use garden roses? Or, you know, so you have to just come up with a solution.
Yeah.
And then they will feel good about it and say, oh yes, it's beautiful, I loved it. You know, and a lot of times they don't even know what the flower is. They just hear and they like it.
Yeah. The color is what is the big thing, right? I mean,
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I always like to ask them, you know, if you have a favorite flower, I try to incorporate. If you have a flower then you like, don't want to see it, tell me, because you're not going to see it.
Yeah.
Are the most important things that I figure out. And of course, the trust. They have to trust you. You know, I can sell you a rock, but if you don't need a rock, then I don't need to sell it to you.
Yeah. What about smell? Do you find that smell of certain flowers impacts certain people?
Yes. There are flowers that are fragrance, you know, by nature, but unfortunately, to make the flowers last longer, they have to change the DNA of the flowers. So one of the things that they lose is the fragrance.
Oh, interesting.
That's why a lot of roses, they don't have fragrance anymore. You know, garden roses, yes, they do have fragrance, but the regular red roses, or they usually don't. A lot of people have allergies on these days. So they try to avoid actually the fragrance if it's possible. Now, of course, if they want to like gardenias or like lilies or something that really reminds them of their childhood, we try to incorporate as well. Yeah, but fragrance, everybody, you see a flower, you go and smell.
Yeah. That's great. So let's say I book you. What's the process look like after I book you? You know, so you've gone through, asked them about flowers. What happens after that?
Right. So then, you know, after I send you a first proposal, I always like to send an email with the first proposal. And then you can get back with me, letting me know, yes, I really like it and I feel comfortable with your prices, so I am ready to book you. Then we have a retainer that it's a minimum of $500, and that goes towards their grand total. So they can drop off a check, they can pay over the phone, they can do Apple Pay. I mean, any kind of payment that they want to do, we do accept it. And then, you know, we have a contract and we do our project through Honeybook. That is a lifesaver. And, you know, they can pay online, they can pay any method that they want, we will take it. Even cash, they can bring a cash and, you know, we give them a receipt and everything. So after they book us, that means that they have a florist and we have a client. So that's their date. Of course, if it's a small wedding, I can take 2 or 3 small weddings in a day. But if it's a wedding that requires setup, breakdown, many hours, sometimes it's an hour away from us,
Yeah.
then we only do 1 wedding a day. Weddings are happening more than ever now: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
So
All
we
day
have
of the week.
weddings. Yeah. Because, the year only has so many days and so many Saturdays.
Yeah.
After that, you really try to work around. For some reason, February 29, it's a very popular wedding day. And it's just, it just happened that, like, I guess every other lead I was getting, it was like, oh, it's February 29.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, okay, so, tell me a little more about your wedding. So let's see if I can still help you. And we have a wedding that is in a historical chapel, and then one that's happening at the church, and, different places.
Yeah.
So after they book me, then we start communicating. They can call me many times they want. I give them my cell phone number. They can text me. They can do Instagram messages. They can do Facebook. They can stop by. I don't have like limited of, communication, because I was a bride before.
Yeah.
And you have to be open,
Yeah,
with
for
your
sure. Yeah.
yeah, because I trust you. So yeah, so that's honestly how the process works. And then, of course, I have brides that book me 18 months in advance, but I have brides that book me 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference as well in communication.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, some brides are more, high maintenance than others, but it's okay. We deal with whatever is necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me what is typically included in, like just thinking about all your customers that you do business with. What is typically your average wedding look like? Like what's included, like, bouquets, flowers, whatever. And then what does that cost look like?
Okay. All right. So let's start with the cost. So our average wedding, we don't do a report like you guys do, but, I try to keep up with my, yeah. So my average wedding, it's between $3,000 to $3,500. So 3,000 to 3,500 is honestly what the average wedding is, and that means about a wedding for, let's say, 120 people.
Okay.
So we're talking about 10 centerpieces, and the centerpieces average price is between $100 to $125.
Gotcha.
And personal flowers, being a bride and bride, or bride and groom and groom wedding, they all want something pretty, either to put it on their lapel or to carry. And then bridesmaids, average, it's about 5. Same thing with the groomsmen, about 5. It's the average. So bouquets, and then corsages for parents, grandparents, boutonnieres for your fathers, grandfathers, or the special, man on your life.
Yeah.
A lot of step families, of course, we see a lot of that as well. So everything is inclusive in there. Now, for the ceremony, I always tell people, it all depends of what your vision is. And people say, oh, the ceremony is just like, 20 minutes. So I really don't want to overdo on the ceremony. That's fine. But just don't forget that whatever you use on the ceremony, you can repurpose inside for the reception.
Yeah.
So don't think about like overspending. Think about just, using twice.
Mm-hmm.
And that go, oh, I never thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do, ceremony pretty, and then, repurpose inside. So ceremony is usually like 2 columns, 2 urns, or like an arch with, little arrangements. Of course, I have done arch for like $15,000, $2,000, the arch alone. So, and then I don't do any kind of rentals for linens or napkins or chair covers. I do containers. So anything that has to do with flowers, I can rent it. Columns, urns, containers, glass, anything like that. So it's honestly, again, color, harmony, it's how we sell. And whatever pictures they send me is what they're going to see. Mm-hmm. So it's about that average price, $3,000 to $3,500.
Yeah, that's good. And that's a good explanation of what actually goes into that. That's really good. Mm-hmm. So if you were going to give advice to couples today, what looking for a florist or someone to do their decorations, what advice would you give them?
So I will probably tell them, don't book your first florist. Of course, if you fall in love with whatever this florist is telling to you, I mean, you have all the right to book with it.
Mhm.
But I would always recommend for you to look for 2 or even like 3 different vendors. And that's not just for the florist, same thing with like a photographer. Of course, again, if you fall in love with the work, then go ahead and book it.
Yeah.
I have couples that call me and they go, hi, my wedding is, October 11, 21. Are you available? And I go, yes. So how much you need to pay to book you? So they don't even know. It's like, are you kidding me? You just gonna book me? And, I had maybe 3 or 4 that happened this past year.
Wow.
And oh, well, all I need then is the retainer paid.
Yeah.
So then after that, I asked them, so what made you choose me? Because I need to know what I'm doing right. And then when people tell, oh, you have all great reviews and we couldn't find anything bad about your services and we love your pictures on Instagram. And so we just want to secure you as a florist.
Yeah.
If you fall in love with your florist, then just go ahead and book it. But I guess getting a second opinion or a third opinion, it's very important. Not only for, for money wise, for budget wise, because I mean, honestly, I don't know where other people buy their flowers. I don't know their overhead. I don't know how much labor they charge. I can tell you I charge. Now, I may be a little bit more expensive or a little less expensive than the second or third florist, but I can justify it. I will come to you and tell you where your money is going.
Yeah.
And you have to click. If you don't click with your vendors,
Yep.
if you have those butterflies and thinking, oh my God, I'm not sure, then you have to find another one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's good. That's good advice. All right, let's switch a little bit and talk about the business side. What would you say for you as a business is working well today?
I guess the main thing, again, it's because we have, all these generations, it's custom. You have to custom almost every single order that you do. And that including like the retail part of the business. I want to hear about what you like. And I want to hear about what this person that's going to receive my flowers do. And if they are more traditional or if they are more, like rustic or whatever their style is. You need to because that's what people really want. They want the experience. They want to see something that's going to fit their house or is going to fit their office or is going to fit their style. And so I guess customizing is not like one wedding. I can do packages and I do call them the collections, but that doesn't mean that it's one fit all.
Yeah.
You still, even with the collections, you still have to adjust because not everybody has, 2 grandparents or 2 dads. Sometimes you have 3 dads. You have a stepdad that's on your life.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you have instead of 4 bridesmaids, you decided you're gonna have none. So then what do you do with these 4 bouquets that I'm charging you?
Yeah.
Customizing, I think, is very important, and that's for everyone in the industry. If you're a cake artist, you really want to make sure that the style for the cake is going to match the style of the couple.
Yeah.
And same thing when they venue. If they are like a ballroom couple, is one thing. If they want to get married at the barn, it's totally different. So I would probably say customizing it's the key in these days. And yes, it takes time. It takes time for us to come up with a customized quote, but it's part of the business. It's really part of it.
Yeah, good. So on the flip side of that, what would you say are your biggest challenges today?
I'll probably say educating people about their budget. I hear so many times flowers are expensive. I cannot afford you. You charge too much. But then you start showing them, listen, you do have options, as I have options as well. You can always, go to the gas station and get a cup of coffee for $1, or you can go to the barista at,
and spend $5 on a cup of coffee.
And pay $7. So it's honestly whatever you can afford. And how important flowers are for you.
Yeah.
If you are a person that, I gotta have flowers and flowers is my priority, is one thing. If you just go, I'm honestly doing this because my mom wants me to have flowers, then honestly, the minimum probably will do it. but educating them and I have brides and grooms as well that had seated in here with me, and we went over the consultation, and on the end of the consultation they tell me, I like flowers now. You show me, the flowers are important, so I'm starting to like flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Just close your eyes and imagine your wedding without flowers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a blank page. You every single picture that you see, you have something, and then you go, oh my God, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the education part and understanding what the priorities are. If they want to spend $8,000 on the photography and they only have a budget of $2,000 for flowers, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
But other times we do weddings that are $10,000 in flowers, but they don't care much for the pictures. So it's totally about what the priorities are.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I hear that a lot about the education part, particularly with, budget and spending. It's a challenge because people are so budget and money focused a lot of times.
Yes.
It's hard to share what goes into it, what's the value that you're getting, what's important to you. Yeah,
correct.
I totally get it. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you were to give advice to someone that was maybe starting off trying to be a florist or trying to get into the business, what advice would you give them?
Well, I was there, I was a newbie before, and I am from Brazil. So I had a flower shop in Brazil with my mom before I moved here. And so the Brazilian market is more like European market. People walk on the streets, they buy flowers for themselves. They have the beautiful crystal keepsake vase that grandma gave it to them. So it's totally different than here. So I had to relearn the way that I would, arrange flowers, and especially weddings. We are mostly Catholics in Brazil. So the Catholic churches in Brazil are decorated peeling down. I mean, they decorate the church like it's from a magazine.
I know, right?
And it's totally here. Yes. It's totally the opposite here. Churches barely allowed you to put one arrangement on the altar or two arrangements on the altar. So I had to relearn all that. So my advice would be for you, first is start looking into the market, finding out where you are located, get involved with networking groups, put yourself out there, reach out to other florists. There are people that are going to close the door on you and look at you as a competitor. Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people that I don't see anyone as a competitor. There is plenty of weddings for every single person on this earth. Yeah. It's so many. Yeah. And shadowing, I have probably about 6-7 people that come here and spend the day with me. I had one that came last week just to spend the day asking questions and, figuring out, how do you do this? What have you done that works, or how did you make this work? So ask questions. And again, if people don't want to help you, they're not going to even reply to you or, email or a phone call, or they're going to say, I cannot help you. But if you have the passion, and that's what I do, I have passion for education. And it is a lifestyle for me. I can't wait to go back to my flower class in September. Then I already booked, and, or convention or a symposium or something. It's like you're always learning. Yeah. Sharing is the key as well. If you learn and you don't share, then why are you learning? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. And yes, people will think, oh, I spent so much money taking this class in California, or, and then why they cannot do the same. A lot of people, they don't know about these classes, or they just, don't think it's necessary. But if you can find your tribe, that's, I found mine, so I'm super happy. That's, you learn how to share. You really learn how to share and how to be around. And so honestly, reach out. Go after, a certain florist, or, follow them on Instagram or Facebook and check blogs. And I mean, like you guys, try to follow things that are happening within the industry. Yeah. Maybe you can go and spend the day with your cousin that is a wedding coordinator, or maybe you can go with the photographer that is, your husband's best friend or someone, so try to get involved first. And then you're going to decide that, oh, I think this is for me. Or maybe, let me stay in my corporate world.
Right. Yeah, that's great advice. I actually like the fact that you allow people to come and shadow you. That's
Yeah.
That's awesome that you do that.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, some people just, they don't do it. They don't, they'll shut you
Right.
out. But I think, if you just keep trying and
Yeah.
keep reaching out, like you said, you'll find someone that's willing to, mentor you and help
Yeah.
you. And you're right. It's not about,
Yes.
it's about community because, um, you know, one of the things you said earlier was it's about community, not competition. And that actually resonated a little bit with me because what the wedding industry is a lot about relationships.
Yes.
And I see a lot of people that build relationships. Yeah, you have competitors. There are probably people that don't want to talk to you and, that they look at you as
Correct.
a competitor. But there's also the thing called alternatives. And that's
Yes.
really what I think is the biggest challenge for as a competitor are alternatives. For example, people can go to Costco or the local wholesale florist place because
Uh-huh.
that's where they can get flowers. And
Yes.
then they just DIY the flower thing. So for me, for a community, what you were talking about, the biggest challenge or biggest competitor to you guys are alternatives, not necessarily other
Yes.
florists.
Right. Yes. And honestly, I always tell people, I don't care where you get your flowers or what you're gonna do with your flowers. As you buy flowers, I'm happy. Because that's a part. We don't want this field just to die, because a lot of things are dying on us with
Yeah.
with the situation. So we don't want all the flower shops in town to close because of Costco or Sam's or online ordering. We don't want that. So
Mm-hmm.
providing a customer service better than what the others do, I think, is honestly the key as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to learn how to say yes, and then you figure out how to solve the problem. And
Yeah.
if you don't know, then you reach out to your mentors and your other friends on the industry and you ask questions. So how do I do this? How do you deal with that? And and again, if brides or couples, you come to me and say, oh, I'm gonna do my own centerpieces, are you okay doing my bouquet? Of course. I'm honored to do your bouquet,
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna be losing money because I'm not doing your centerpieces.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be gaining more clientele because they're gonna see, oh my God, Andy is open to let me do my centerpieces, and she's gonna do just my bouquet.
Yeah.
you know
Well,
so but
I've also heard that some florists or businesses will teach classes in their local market to help
yeah.
brides learn how to do their own. Okay, you want to do your own centerpieces? Great, come to my
Right.
class. I'll teach you how to do the arrangements, and then
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's something that we have started doing workshops, but workshops mostly for like wedding professionals, so like florists.
Mm-hmm.
But if I mean, honestly, I'm like a one-stop shopping for flowers, but I'm basically the only one here during the day, and Tuesday through Friday, and then weekends we have freelancers that come and help.
Yeah.
But I have to touch everything. So, I don't have much hours left,
Yeah.
during my
Right.
day. But if I have someone that reach out to me and say, hey, can I come and can you teach me how to do my bridal bouquet the day before my wedding? If I'm available, yes, I have no problem. I'll charge you for my time.
Yes,
Welcome.
absolutely.
Yes, you're welcome to come. But again, it's just so much weddings happening that, I mean, even a Saturday consultation with a couple, I can barely do it. Like today, that's a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I actually block on the calendar, so I wouldn't do anything else other than the wedding that I have for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you honestly have to kind of pick and choose. What am I
Yeah.
going to do? Am I going to do another wedding this weekend, or should I just do the interview, then I book already, and then worry about the next day wedding?
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. And and I don't want to do every single wedding that happens in Central Florida. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have any time left to do anything else.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So last question, Andrea, what is your best or worst wedding or business story that you got for me?
I'm probably gonna think that the worst thing that happened with our business was during the Hurricane Irma that passed over in Florida.
Yeah.
about 2 years ago, and we had power, so that was a good thing. We never lost power, but we had no phones and no internet.
Wow.
So for 12 days, I had almost zero income. And then, of course, when you reach out to your insurance company and you go and say, hey, what do I have covered? And they tell you nothing. You only have cover, your inventory, and in case of flooding or damage, but you honestly didn't have any of that. So I was like, so then let me just ask you, what do I need if this happens again? And then they told me, you need loss of income. So I added loss of income with my insurance, and I'm actually paying double now every month, but at least I'm covered in case something like that happen again. Then I have no incoming orders or no, phone. I mean, how can you deal without a phone?
Yeah.
So for 12 days it was like a nightmare for many, many, many businesses in Central Florida. I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
Probably the worst, that happened. And then the best thing that ever happened for my business, it was probably getting involved with, the Central Florida networking groups. Again, being an immigrant and being, out of this country and trying to blend in and make sure people will accept you, it's hard.
Yeah.
My first networking event, then I left crying because it was awful. So the second one, I had a buddy. So, find a buddy that will go with you. And, I always tell, when I see someone sitting alone in a table, then, they're like in a corner, they're not talking with anyone, I'll come to them now and I say, hi, I'm Andy with the Flower Studio. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
And you create so many friendships just doing that.
Yeah.
And people go, oh my God, thank you so much for coming and talking with me.
That's great. That's great that you do that.
Yeah. I've been there, so I know how hard.
Yeah, I know the feeling that you're talking about, because I'm it seems weird, but I'm not really as social as it seems. But you go to these large events and you see people just sitting there or just standing there and no one's talking to them. I like to go over and talk to them and say, hey, I'm Shane, and what do you do? And just kind of like, because you're right, you never know who you're going to meet and who you're going to build a relationship with. It's great. Yeah. Andreia.
So that'll be the worst that happened was the hurricane, and then the best is get involved with with your local vendors. That is that best referral you can have.
That's awesome. Andreia, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate you doing this on a Saturday when you've got a wedding going on. So
yes.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much.
All right. Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. I hope that you found it helpful. Please share it with other people. Also, if you're getting married or you work in the wedding industry, I would love to interview and share your information with other people. Send me a text, 520-399-8580, or shoot me an email at letschat@wedding.report.